Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. We have a fun one today. This is Wally Wood's Thunder Agents from Deluxe Comics from back in the 80s. Lots of great art here. First time discovery for me for a lot of great George Perez art. Jerry Ordway, Keith Giffen, others. A tribute to Wally Wood's Thunder Agents. So I'm excited about this one. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Let's get right into it. So, with George Perez passing recently, I mean, we still feel the loss. I mean, it's a hole forever ripped in the fabric of the comic community that just will never be replaced. Nobody drew classic comic book superheroes like George with such power, detail, dynamism, forgive my pronunciation of that word, heart, soul, the whole shebang. I love George Perez. He definitely influenced me as an artist. I feel like I learned so many fundamentals of art just studying his art, and I love it so much. Somehow the Thunder Agents wasn't really on my radar. I was probably mostly into Marvel and DC at the time, and I think this is like right around the time it's 1984, so he's also doing the Titans at the time, and I kind of came in the Titans late and George Perez late, so I somehow missed it first time around. But I was surprised he even had time to do this, because he's doing like the monthly Titans, doing annuals, covers, miniseries, just like a lot of stuff as usual for George Perez. But I do think he famously bit off more than he could chew sometimes, and did take on side projects and when he could. So it's really super cool and fun to find, like hidden gems like this, like things that I wasn't completely aware of. There was a piece of art I was familiar with that should have tipped me off, but whatever. So Thunder Agents, Wally Wood, apparently like a tip of the hat to the acronym kind of spy genre, like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and stuff like that. And apparently this was a big hit. I mean, everybody loved Wally Wood. Great EC artist, beautiful art. I wish, he was more one of my artists, but definitely from like generations before me, so I kind of feel like I missed the boat on him too. So it's kind of cool to get a sort of sideways introduction to Wally Wood through this. I do need to look for some more Wally Wood art. It's funny because they were talking about putting this book together after Wally had died, as sort of like a tribute. Revival was inevitable, and I thought, how weird. Like, I don't know. I don't often hear people talk about the Thunder Agents, like, as one of their favorite books. So maybe it's not in my circles, or I don't know, but, I'm sure there's a fanship out there, obviously. So they tried to put together a quality book to honor Wally Wood, because, he's such a legendary creator. So they, asked who everyone's favorite penciler was, and they said George Perez, and they got Dave Cockrum working on it. Patty, his wife, is the colorist. John Workman letterer, one of my favorite letterers in comic book history. But it's interesting because this is $2, $2.75 in Canada, of course, Canada. Anyway, I always thought, thank God I didn't live in Canada, because I couldn't afford to buy as many comic books. They seem so expensive. Anyway, so they got George Perez and Dave Cockrum inking him, and I have to say I'm not in love with the combination. This is a great splash page, but some of it, it looks pretty good, but I don't know, I think I would have preferred a different inker. Not 100% sure on that. This is interesting. They introduced this belly dancing character named Phoenicia, and come to find out, well, some of us already knew that George Perez's wife is a belly dancer, and her stage name is Phoenicia. One thing I did not know, though, is that Dave Cockrum's wife, Patty, was also a belly dancer. So apparently, Keith Giffen had joked that his wife should start taking belly dancing lessons. So they were well on their way to creating a harem, I suspect. Anyhow, The Secret Lives of Comic Book Artists. Who knew? I mean, George Perez definitely has an interesting, private life. Like, he's an actor. He is into certain sort of, I don't know, role-playing kind of things, like going to like fetish cons and things like that, and has done some like interesting fetish art. So it's kind of cool. Like there's another side to like this classic, like quintessential comic book artist. Interesting, right? See what I mean about the inks being slightly off though, and that's trying not to knock Dave Cockrum, because I feel like Dave Cockrum like had ups and downs with his art, and a lot of it was due to health issues. I feel this is a beautiful pinup by Jerry Ordway. That is so cool. I love Jerry Ordway's work. He does such classic superheroes very well. But you know, it's interesting because my friend Philip, I'm just kidding. You didn't think you were gonna get called out in this video, did you? But we were just looking at Burn inked by Perez on Action Comics together, and I do love it. But sometimes it's kind of weird when two of your favorite artists who have such a distinct style unto themselves come together. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I'm okay with it, but I've seen better. Now this is gorgeous here, Steve Ditko, inked by Greg Theakston, who inked a lot of Jack Kirby, I feel. Looks so good. I mean, that looks so great. Like, it's the perfect polish and finish for Steve Ditko. It, like, looks so good. I just love it. Here's some Keith Giffen. I do love Keith Giffen. It's funny because once you find out that he basically ripped off this style from a famous Mexican artist, it's hard to unsee it. I mean, I guess he did adopt it as his own and ran with it himself, but it still just seems kind of like a ripoff to me, and it kind of breaks my heart because Keith Giffen is such like a classic comic book creator, and I do love and respect his work. And I did like when he's switched it up on that like more open loose style on Trencher, which come to find out he kind of ripped off from somebody else. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. This is definitely not a video to malign Keith Giffen. However, once you know certain things like that, it's hard not to color your perception. It's hard to separate the art from the artist sometimes, but damn it, I'm gonna do it because this is some freaking gorgeous art, right guys? Like, so much fun. The Iron Maiden, I love it. That's just so hysterical. Like, I think there was a heavy metal band at the time going around by that name. Guys, anyway, Pat Broderick, love his work. Classic superhero comic book artist. This is the image I'm familiar with. If anyone has like the Focus on George Perez art book, this was like either the back inside cover or something like that, or maybe, yeah, Focus on George Perez. Anyway, I thought it was stunning. I wanted it. Who knew there was a poster available of it? I would totally love to have that. So cool. One of my favorite images that Perez has done. Steve Englehart, writer. Dave Cockrum, artist. John Workman, yay, letterer. Patey, colorist. Now, see, this art looks great, and this is Dave Cockrum penciling and inking himself. It's funny because it's hard to imagine this is the same artist who penciled and inked Giant Size X-Men #1. Obviously, that's artistically leaps and bounds above, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, what was I gonna say? It kind of makes me wonder, God, I have no idea, but he, like, the Futurians came out around this time too, and that was like better, and I feel like this is already inked better than the George Perez part that he inked. I don't know, so who knows what happens in art anyway, but I do like Dave Cockrum. I mean, this is like classic Dave Cockrum, like that's like such a classic, like, Colossus pose. I feel like Dave sort of got a raw deal in his career. John Byrne definitely stole his thunder. See what I did there? Thunder Agents. And speaking of John Byrne, like, I thought it was interesting to mention, like, the top artists in the country and who, like, it, for all intents and purposes, it feels like John Byrne should be part of this. I feel like he was a Wally fan and would have been perfect for it. But then I got to thinking, well, there's the fabled, like, rivalry, but I feel like it was more like a friendly rivalry between Perez and Byrne. because obviously they work together, like on the Action Comics annual and stuff like that. But then I thought, well, and then perhaps it's Dave Cockrum's involvement, because I feel like John Byrne was pretty rude about Dave Cockrum a lot and kind of disrespectful to him. So I could see him not being involved because of that. But I don't know anything about it, so that's all just speculation on my part. So, and to speak to the fact that Perez might have bitten off more than he could chew, they talk about deadlines and stuff like that. And what else? Oh, the fact that Perez is doing layouts. Oh, well, he's doing finishes with Bill Ray. I do like the way this looks. I like when Perez does this, like, sort of silhouettes, and his design elements always look so on point. And, of course, his perspective, down shot of a crowd. Love it. And then Phoenicia pops up again. The love between George Perez and his wife is, like, legendary, and it's, like, so sweet and touching, and I love that he included a little tribute to her in here to immortalize her forever. I mean, they just obviously loved each other very much, and it's a very sweet, sweet, sweet love story. Love that. I mean, that's such a great panel there, too, and it's so different in a lot of ways, like, looks almost like it almost could be taken from Miller and Jansen's early Daredevil stuff, if you think about it. But then we're getting back into the more Perez detailing and inks. I love that so much. His great use of long vertical panels. Always using his gimmicks with the camera and the tricks. More Keith Giffen. I mean, the style does run its course. That looks so much like Wonder Man right there. I mean, it's weird. There's a lot of, and I speak of this. Oh, there's my poster. Look how gorgeous this is. And I have to say it because I always say it. And it's almost as if my show were a drinking game. This would be part of it too. It's the inevitable point in an Image comic, even though we're not looking at an Image comic, where we have to turn the book sideways. And that's always a good thing because it means big art. And we get to drink in the big art. That is so gorgeous. I love the Kirby dots. I love all the little doohickeys and doodads. It's so good. Dave Cockrum pencils, Murphy Anderson inks. Now that's a cool combination right there. I mean, this book is kind of great in a lot of ways because it's giving us these, like, art teams that you never would have thought possible before. I like the inclusion of this pencil drawing out of nowhere. That's cool. Nice Baxter paper. Yeah, I mean, for the better, you know, maybe that, I'm like, I don't know if I ever saw this at the store, but I know I would have never passed on George Perez art, so I feel like it just must have been out of my reach or something, or off my radar. Dave Cockrum, scripting pencils, Murphy Anderson inks, John Workman, Patey. So funny. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, this is all fine and everything, but this certainly isn't, like, my favorite work by Dave Cockrum by any stretch. A lot of people say, and it's hard to argue, that his first run of the X-Men was the best. And I can see a lot of that. It's hard to argue. Now, this is gorgeous. Check this out. John Workman, my favorite freaking letterer. This is what you don't know. Well, maybe you do. A lot of inkers, letterers, colorists are also artists in their own right, and this is a perfect example of that. And it just makes sense. You know what I mean? You know, just because you can draw people doesn't necessarily mean you're equipped to draw a monthly comic book. But you can letter a monthly comic book and then bust out something this gorgeous whenever you feel like it. Phoenicia, the famous. Gorgeous. See, but then in times like these, I do love the dense sort of chaoticness of Keith Giffen's layouts. He is a master storyteller. And you can steal someone else's style, but you can't. Oh yeah, you can. You can steal whatever you want, I guess. Steve Ditko, inks Greg Theakston. Now this is going to be good. I love this. What a great splash page. John Workman letters, Payday colors, Zipatone. Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko realness. Oddly erotic panel. I don't know why, but I mean... Love these characters. There's just something so, like, hokey about Steve Ditko at the same time as being so, like, just, you know, crazy. I don't know, I just love it. Just nobody does Steve Ditko like Steve Ditko. Featuring see, did you guys have that graphic novel? I don't think I could ever find the individual issues, which probably helped kill the series, but I did love the graphic novel. Mostly for the art. The art was freaking beautiful. Number 4. This cover looks cool. I love that. That's like such a classic Perez kind of cover. Love all the stippling he's doing there. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him do that on, like, another cover before to that degree. Although, Batman, A Lonely Place of Dying, I think, in the Titans. Maybe. I mean, he definitely has some gimmicks that he uses. Dan Adkins inker. Don't hate Dan Adkins as an inker for Perez. I feel like I've seen that combination before, and it does look pretty good. As stated, nothing will ever, there's the deadline talk, but nothing will ever compare to, you know, Perez inking himself, but, and thank God we do have a lot of that, you know, in our vaults, like the JLA Avengers and the Titans Baxter series, first 2 issues, Teen Titans 38, 39, 42, I don't know, whatever. Great panel there, love that. So I don't know, like, you know, these superheroes seem a little generic. I don't want to knock them because maybe they're totally awesome and I didn't, like, completely thoroughly read this, but this is cracking me up. I love it. It's, like, such a sign of the times. Blackmane and I would like to address a word or two to those of you still don't read the Futorian. Listen up, punks. Like, that is so 80s. Like, we're gonna threaten you into buying our comic book. Because physical violence is the answer. See how times have changed, people? So different. Anyway, Steve Ditko, Greg Theakston. Here we go. This looks like it could be lifted straight out of Constantine. Eh, y'all? Oh my God, so much fun. Well, fun. I mean, I feel like a book like this at the time in 1984 is competing, like, with Chris Claremont's X-Men, probably, I mean, Paul Smith, Art Adams, like, a little hokey for that. I have this book. I have no idea what it's about, but it's a special Paul Smith issue, so look for it soon, guys. Evangeline. Now, this is interesting, I thought, given recent news developments that are rocking our country right now. Sometimes the best job, sometimes the best man for the job is a woman, especially a woman with a machine gun with a flamethrower on the end of it. Yes. Now, what's this? No credit. A Rich Buckler. Rich Buckler. That's an interesting name. I mean, definitely a classic comic book artist. I feel like I haven't seen a ton of stuff by him, but I've always liked what I have seen. And that is it already? No. Okay, we got one more. I was gonna say, I thought there was something a little more exciting gonna happen, and there is. It's this Jerry Ordway cover. Like, how cool is that? Oh, I should have been down all the time. Oh, well. Jerry Ordway, like, look how great this cover is. I love this. It's so evocative of, like, EC covers. Like, he really, like, did a great tribute to Wally Wood with this cover, I feel. I think it looks fantastic. And then we get very classic-looking superhero art, Jerry Ordway. I am not in love with this coloring. It reminds me sort of like Continuity Comics, Neil Adams, or maybe even Valiant, like when they were doing the watercolor painting. I just did not like it. I don't think it looks good. I prefer either flat coloring, traditional, or computer coloring. I mean, I appreciate them trying to elevate it here and what they were going for, but I don't know what it is. It almost makes me nauseated. Like, it's sort of like a, no offense, Patty. I mean, I don't know. It's just, but then again, now I see this page and I really love this page. So maybe we were just warming up. Maybe I need to shut up. Maybe it's just something about that opening page. I don't know. Those yellows or something. Anyway, I guess it's okay. So Roger Mackenzie's plot and script, Jerry Ordway art, John Workman lettering, Patty coloring, Brian Marshall editoring, and David M. Singer executive editoring. Sometimes you just gotta laugh at your own jokes, right, guys? I love this. Straight up science fiction. Oh my god, guys, I'm sorry, but Jerry Ordway is really bringing it here. It's pretty amazing, like, the high quality Jerry Ordway was at, like, pretty much right out the gate. He, like, had such a well-developed style and such, like, he just has, like, such a clean, like, precise style. Like, it always looks how it's supposed to look. I don't know. It's so good. And he's so clean and great with his inking, too. Did we say, is he inking himself here? If he is, loving that because, yes. Oh my god, he's just such a great inker. Like, he has such a confidence and just, like, skill level. His technique is so, like, on point and consistent with his hatching and just the way, like, how he draws the billows and the smoke and all that stuff. I just love his work. You know what his work kind of is in a lot of ways? It's like, almost Alex Rossian, if Alex Ross did pen and ink instead of painting, just because of the traditional look and believability of the space he creates with his characters and his settings. More Keith Giffen. I don't know. I'm up and down with it. Mike Harris, penciler. This is funny. How to rip off Marvel and DC without ripping off Marvel and DC. Make your characters go to a costume party. And G.I. Joe's there, Wolverine's there, a very douchebag looking Wolverine. I love it. This is great, and just when you least expect it, just like a good luck totem, a beacon in the night, out of nowhere, Don Simpson's Megaton Man appears. I love that. I think that's hysterical. And of course, appropriately, he's not getting any respect at all, even as like a cosplayer. No, never. Not even one more issue. Please, but poor Don Simpson. Poor Megaton Man. You deserve your due, buddy. He's just Superman here. Like, they're not even trying anymore. Like, it was like an 8. And now it's just the S. Oh my god. Like, how did they even get away with this? Like, I haven't been part of every, like, fan rip-off comic book on the planet by now. But anyway. John R. Stadema, Ron Lim. Interesting. Early Ron Lim. I first discovered Ron Lim in X-Mutants. Remember that comic with all the chicks with the big 80s hair and stuff like that? Anyway, that is a crazy look back. Evangeline. Wallywood's Thunder Agents revival from 1980. Whatever I said it was. Perez, Ordway, Giffen. Amazing. Marshall Rogers. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Share my content, and I'll bring you more later. Thanks, guys.